So guys, I just got back from the Ohio State Yo-Yo Championships. Man, it was awesome. I almost backed out, but I decided to go for it anyways. And I did terrible. I did absolutely terrible on stage, but I had a good time and I met some people, learned some new stuff, and just had a really good time. Glad I did it. I felt that resistance to not, I didn't even have a routine. I didn't even know what I was doing. But I just went up there, put on a song, and did a little freestyle for 2 minutes. Anyways, when I was watching these guys, there's probably about 50 different players at this competition. And all different skill levels. There's guys that have been doing it for years, guys that have just started, guys like me who just kind of mess around and I've been doing it for 2 years now. And it's cool to see how each one of them is. And something I've noticed among people, any skill, anything that takes skill, anything that takes like practice to be learned, when you see the different levels from an amateur to, in the middle, but let's just say amateur and professional, what makes an amateur and what makes a professional. And I'm watching these guys and they're really good. There was 2 pros there, Eric Kolaski and Kai Zizan. You guys want to see some good yo-yoing? Kai Zizan, Las Vegas Open, blow your mind. Anyways, dude was there. I was taking a piss next to him. I was like, "Hey man, did you already go up?" He's like, "No, not yet." I was gonna shake his hand, but we were pissing, so I didn't do that. Anyways, so I'm watching them, and the guys that are very good, very professional, intricate, they just flow. Okay, you can tell they've committed hours and hours of practice to this craft, to getting it down, to knowing the subtle things, just knowing the sport, knowing the craft completely. And there's something about them. It's almost like a sort of dispassionate. They sort of seem dispassionate, or kind of, how do I say this? Like reserved, or how do I say this? Like they almost, when they yo-yo, they almost yo-yo dispassionately. Almost, not mechanically, but dispassionately. Where they know it so well, it's so refined, it's so down to a science, and they just do it. They know what to do, so they do it. Now, in contrast, I want you guys to, because for me, this is where I'm realizing this, the amateurs, on the other hand, me included, I will get really excited, right? And when I go on stage, my nerves start affecting me. I'm worried about performing so well that I freeze, that I tend to freeze up. I can't complete the most basic tricks. A lot of amateurs, this happens to them. The stage fright, the wanting to do so well. There's this young boy that was on the side, and he was throwing crazy. And I was like, whoa, this dude's a beast. He got on stage, and he just wrecked his whole performance. But with some of these guys who've been doing it for years, dispassionately, they just step on stage, they do their thing, and then they go. Right? They put it there, they complete the run, and they go. And just looking at what makes an amateur and a professional, where do you draw the line? And I think it's in this sort of look, this sort of different outlook that the professional has, a different outlook that the amateur has. I remember going on the bodybuilding stage, men's physique, and I was very excited. But this excitement almost froze me. Leading up to the competition, I think I was so excited. I was so in love that I needed to do well, right? I needed to do well. That held me back. If you can understand this at all, what I'm saying, instead of just doing the work, everything that needed to be done, kind of planning and then executing and saying, okay, that's what it needs. I was almost like getting hyped, and then that froze me in my place. I didn't really take the steps necessary and put the work in that all needed to be done. Right? I got hyped to work out. I got hyped to get on stage. I got hyped to get a good placing. I didn't get hyped to do calves. I didn't get hyped to do abs. Right? I didn't get hyped to do cardio. I just got like I was riding this high of, I'm gonna compete. Yeah, let's go. And then I kind of froze. It kind of kept me from doing the most important things. And back to these yo-yoers, just looking at it that way, the professional. He knows, he's put the practice in. He knows how it is, so he goes on stage. He doesn't care what people he's just performing. Dispassionately, he knows his craft. The amateur gets really excited and it causes him to freeze up. You see, the professional, anything, you can look at this in all sports, but look at any guy who's really good at what he does, any woman, there's definitely that like swagger. And the swagger looks to me like a reserved kind of, I know what I'm doing. It's like they don't even gotta say it, right? You just know, man, it's all like this professional bodybuilder. You just know this dude's put the hours in the gym. What did Tony Robbins say? He said, like, you're rewarded in public for the things that you do and for the years of doing something in private, spent in private practicing, whatever. You're rewarded in public for what you do in private. So, very cool. Just, you can tell they wear the years of practice on their shoulder, and it's by the professional sits down and does his work, right? We all feel resistance. It's real easy to feel the resistance. It's hard to overcome it though, right? We all feel it. What did Stephen Pressfield in The War of Art? He says the hardest thing for a writer isn't to write, it's to sit down. It's just to sit down, and then once you begin writing, then it's like you build the momentum, but sitting down is the hardest part. Practicing is the hardest part. And the hype is easy. That's that euphoria. Quick example, I'm sure you guys have felt this. It's easy to get hyped to go to the gym. You just take pre-workout. But then when you get to the gym, you're like, okay, now it's time to lift. And a lot of times, you had such like high energy and this euphoria before the gym, but then when you get in the gym, it's like, what happens to it? Am I crashing, or why am I not as pumped? When the music was blaring in the car, why am I not as pumped to put the work in? And I have this happen to me all the time. And now it's like, okay, I've worked out for a while now. Okay, so I don't even need to get pumped. I just know that in order to maintain this body, in order to get a good body.
Your attention, please. The library will be closing in 15 minutes. All computers, copiers, self-checkouts, and the cash register will shut down in 10 minutes. If you need to check out materials, make a purchase, or pay a fine, please come to the circulation desk now. Thank you.
In order to get this good body, I have to go to the gym and put the work in. Okay, I don't, like in the beginning, I was really excited, really pumped. But like now, you just gotta grind, man. You just do it because it needs to be done. Because I know that, you can get pumped all you want, right? It's okay to be pumped, but it's like, you gotta put the work in. You literally I have to sit down and read that book. I catch myself doing this. I will get so many books from the library. I will get a stack of books. They're like, you ain't gonna read all those. And I'm like, yeah, I am. And then I'll go home And instead of like giving a book a day, like this is what I'm trying to work on, like cutting out the time spent on books. I want to boom, 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 like vacuum that knowledge. Put that fire hose in my mouth and turn it on of knowledge. Suck it in, man. Anyways, I will think about, I'm so excited to go home and read that book. And then I go home and I find something else to do. Something that like wasn't as important as reading that book. Hopefully I'm doing something more important than reading that book. But a lot of times I'm not. So I'm getting pumped and then I'm not doing the action. I'm froze, okay? Love freezes. When you love something so much, it freezes you. I'm trying to think of some more examples. Fitness is definitely a huge one. Reading, I wasn't even really aware of that. I need to think about that more. Because, man, and then I'll come, like I said, the stack of books will be left untouched, or I'll go through them, but I won't really, extract that knowledge that I need to from them. It just made me feel good getting all those books from the library, and I really didn't do anything with them. My buddy, if you got a website, and he's like, man, I know what I need to do each day. I know that I need to sit down and write articles, but I can always find stuff to do. I can always, it's easy for me to go over there and we'll have coffee and we'll talk, and then we'll get up and talk, we'll get caught up in talking. And then an hour or two will go by and we have good talks, but what is it that we could have been doing, right? And we'll get pumped about the future, but what actions are we taking to get to that future? And that's, I think that's a big part of growing, is realizing your time is valuable and realizing that, man, execution is the most important thing. Really picking, and like I said, the one thing, but then executing on it. We don't need to execute on a bunch of little things, on just a to-do list. The one thing. And he said, Elijah, man, the hardest part is sitting down on that computer and writing. But once I do it, I get this euphoria, this wave of euphoria that runs over me, man. Like I sat down, I did the work. I didn't know how I was going to do it, right? But once I started, the momentum, the wheels started turning, man, and I finished that. And I did my work for the day. And the coolest thing about this, I'll finish up here, but the coolest thing about doing your work, and I'm not saying, if you're working 40-hour work week more, you go to work 8 to 10 hours a day. I'm not saying that work. Maybe that's what, that's where you want to be career-wise. You put in the work, you go home, you feel relieved, you feel like you conquered, But when you have that one thing, when you have something you need to complete, something that you really want to complete, right? You're really happy, you're ready to complete, man. It's going to do really good for you. Okay? If it's learning something new, whatever it is, if it's work, physical, and you do it, it frees you. It unlocks you to be yourself, be open to have a lot of fun for the rest of the day. And when I'm with my girlfriend, if I don't do the work that needs to be done, when I'm with my family, if I don't do the work that needs to be done, I have this tension. Something that's like, what are you doing here? I can't give them all of me, my true self, because I didn't put the work in. So I have this cognitive dissonance of I'm over here and I'm over here. Which one is more important? Which one should I be doing? I'm torn between these two things. But when you do the work, you follow your mission. This is what I'm talking about. This is the mission, right? This is the mission. And once you complete this, it unlocks you. It frees you, man, from the chains. You're not shackled down, but a man's got to have a mission. Okay, something he's doing, something he's putting energy into. And once you do it, you're able to be free and give and love. And like when you're with your girl, when I'm with my girl, then I'm able to be free. I'm able to be funny, be loving, be kind, right? I don't have to be in my head and be in my ego trying to be funny. I'm just myself, right? I don't have to win her over, right, anymore. No games. When I'm with my family, I can love them. I can hang out with them and just be free. I don't know if you guys can relate to this, but when you know that you've completed the job, the task, the most important thing, the one thing, it lets you be free. So guys, really cool day, really excited, had a great time. And I will tell you, if you've never been on stage, any kind of competition, maybe you're competitive, maybe you're not, getting on stage is terrifying, dude. I feel like I would go on stage and do better, or just like public speaking, but getting onto that yo-yo stage today for 2 minutes was terrifying. I'm not a nervous dude. I had 1 cup of coffee. Last time I did this, a year ago, I had a pre-workout. Oh, Lord. That was not cool.
Gotta kick you out, bud.
Alright, I'm leaving. Alright, guys, but stepping on stage is cool. I gotta get going. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Peace.